to me. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. You're the best thing. That's good. That's good. It's coming in right loud. I have. If I keep singing it, then I might get a copyright strike because the way I sang is so real, it's so close to Gladys that the people might get confused and think that I'm Mr. Gladys. I want to talk about why is it and how is it that these two ladies, Patti and Gladys, got the whole country together in one night, and why it was so important that they did what they did tonight, thanks to Verzuz. Uh-oh. Hello, everybody. Sirwalterj Jones show. I'm here. It is the evening edition. You're the best thing that ever happened to me, baby. How y'all is? Come on in. Water's fine. Water's fine. Oh man, what a show tonight! What a concert, and what a concept. Putting two of America's favorites together on the couch. Well, they weren't on the couch. They were on two chairs, and Patti, of course, as usual, was having hot flashes. Well, I went to go see both of them on stage. A few years ago, I went to go see Patti twice, and I go to see Gladys every year, faithfully. I tried never to ever miss a Gladys night. Thanks to my dear friend Demetra Pitts, she was my running buddy. She's my running buddy to the Chicago Theater whenever she comes to town. And the reason why I want to do a show about them tonight, because this is a part of the pandemic report, because we needed some good news. We needed the music to do something for us, because music brings us together in ways that other things don't. We've been so divided. We've been so divided in everything in America. The pandemic came and showed everybody how naked we all were, how unprepared we were, how sick we were, and so we all needed it. Yes, V. Rogers, we all needed something that we all can identify and talk about. So as I was watching, it was about 600,000 people watching that live stream. It was streamed on iTunes audio, then it was streamed on YouTube. It was about 10,000 watching that, at least the channel that I was watching. And then there was another 500,000 watching through Instagram, through the Verzuz channel. And I think what they accomplished tonight was great because of the style and the characters of these two people. You see, you couldn't have done the artist known for doing WAP, okay, and do a Verzuz there, Missy Elliott and this other chick, okay, putting them on a seat and have them. It wouldn't have worked out. All right. First of all, they can't sit down and do their shows. First of all, okay. And number two, their material is not feasible for a general audience. And so what they did was to have a great idea to put those two together, and not as in a competition, although all of us naturally want to compete, the two of them, you know, and y'all know who my favorite is. It's just obvious who my favorite is, but it didn't bring division. The music was truly uplifting. And their music, they're known for, at least in their, as they found their way through their young lives. You heard where Patti was talking about how she did Ulu Vu Vu She Ale Kwa. I don't know, Lady Marmalade. Okay, when we were young, we didn't know what that song meant, and she said tonight when she sang it with the Bluebells, I think that's their name, they didn't know. what they were singing. She says it was nuns, Catholic nuns, who approached them and says, "Why are y'all singing about having sex with whatever?" She said. They didn't know, and she admitted they were young and foolish. They didn't understand that, but they sang about life back then. But as they got older and matured, notice how their music changed. Good to see you, Sharon. From Fort Lauderdale. Yes, love Fort Lauderdale. My best friend lived there. I lived with him for a while, and the Lord took him out of here. Yeah, Marmalade. Yeah, I think. Okay, yeah, but notice as they got seasoned and they progressed in their music. Yeah. She says I didn't know it. It just felt good. Yeah, voulez-vous coucher avec quoi? C'est quoi? I don't know. All right. Yeah, no competition. Gladys, you're number one in my book, Patti. If you only knew. I'm not your superwoman. Yeah, that duo there, it just blessed everybody. And here's the people that it blessed. It blessed those who are unbelievers and believers. It was great to do it on the Sunday night. You see, I'm not so deep and so spiritual and so holy that I only listen to gospel music. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't listen to much gospel music today because it doesn't do anything for me. It just doesn't. Linda, thank you. Blessing to you. You must be new to the show. Loretta, good to see you. Loretta Barnes. I'm gonna be honest with y'all because I'm always honest. Today's gospel music don't really do much for me. What happened is the African Americans, what we did was we turned over to praise and worship, and we began to listen to what's called CCM. It didn't just start; it started a few years. It started in the late '90s when we started to jump ship. Okay, CCM is contemporary gospel. Okay, contemporary gospel music, contemporary Christian music. That's what CCM is. All right, and so what we did was we walked away from our foundation. Good to see you, the great basses in the house. We created this American sound. We created this feeling in America. Yeah, we created this, African Americans. And there is no music that I can think of in America that African Americans didn't have a part that they played in it, in the foundation and the creation of it. Do you understand? Just like all of American wars, every war that America fought in, an African American gave his life for it. Everyone, from the very first one since 1619 when they came and got us, very first one. All right, so we've had our hand in the building of the good feeling of the people of mankind, no matter what the genre is. All right, and what we started to do later on is walk away from that. I live in Chicago. I'm afforded the privilege of, being in a city where there are many clubs, blues clubs and jazz clubs and Broadway and shows that you can see. Okay, they call us Second City because we're like second to New York. But although I believe over the past 5 years or more, we've been number one. New York has been number two. Okay. And what happens was when I was Ubering, I would drop these people off at these clubs and pick them up. And I noticed that if I had to go in those clubs, I would notice that we didn't show up at the clubs where our music was performed. Now, I don't go to blues clubs and jazz clubs. I don't do that. But there are some jazz artists that I still go to. David Sanborn and I went to go see Joe Sample and George Duke. Okay, these guys I went to go see because their music, it just does something for me, being a pianist as I am. All right, so I would go to see their shows, and it would be Lily White in the audience. I could count how many black people went to those jazz shows. When I would go to the blues clubs, I wasn't going to be a part of it, but I was, like I said, I was Ubering. And Lily White, we wasn't there. We began to abandon our music, what we created. And I think it is in the fabric of who we are. We abandoned so much. And I think what desegregation did started us from doing these things. We began to become desensitized. I don't know. The mom and pop stores began to suffer in our neighborhoods. So if you drive up and down our African American neighborhoods, you'll see Asian shops, Hispanic shops, of course, European shops, Jewish shops, okay? But you won't see us. We've abandoned almost everything but the church. And even in the churches, many of the churches are, there's an exodus out of the black churches. Yes, I will say that. More and more people are leaving the churches, and they're going to if they stand in a church, they're leaving the old traditional missionary Baptist or the old formed Kojic churches that great-great-grandpa Pastor Johnson formed 70 years ago, and they're leaving those, and that's why many of these churches, it's 1,000 seats in there, but it's only 20 people there every Sunday morning. So you're seeing many of those churches, right? And the people are the generation, the millennial generation is leaving them and going to forming or joining these newer churches where they took off the suits, no more cloaks and no more signets and rings and ties and clergy collars. They took all that off, all right, and they began to worship. And then what happened? They brought in this new sound, although it's not new, called praise and worship. With CCM. So we had we had testimony service, we had traditional music, we had what was called call and response, we had what do we call it? We call it what did we call it? It'll come to me eventually, okay? Congregational. We had congregational music. Traveling shoe, Lord, got on my drive, okay? Call and response, pretty much. And the musicians improvised and what have you. There was no sheet music, and there was no charts. You know, you didn't have to rehearse it. You just called and someone responded, and then they'll say, all right, somebody testify. That was what we came up under. And then we abandoned that style, which is not a big problem because it's a cultural thing. No one says you have to do that. They would abandon that style, and they went over into the Caucasian neighborhoods and began to borrow. My mic is going to go out, so bear with me. They went over to the Caucasian area, and they began to use some of, what do you call, oh, man, Don Moen, Stephen Curtis Chapman, Michael W. Smith, Amy Grant, okay, Nicole C. Mullen. Of course, she's black, but it's almost like you can't tell. Okay, and you start hearing that sound. And if I had my keyboard, I can demonstrate the simplicity of the sound because it's pretty much it's a circle sound. All right, and we've got caught up in it. Thank you, James Paul. It's a devotion. Yeah. Devotional service. Thank you. I said congregational, and it's used intertwined or interchangeably, I guess you can say. Yeah, I missed a devotional. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So we walked away from that. Hillsong. Thank you. I was looking at Hillsong in my head, but I couldn't call it. Hillsong, and is the one from is it Australia? Okay. All right, in chat, what's her name? Darlene Czech's music, okay? So we started to grab a hold of that sound and that music, and we began to walk away from the sound of what we created. The bands, the black bands and the black choirs of the Mississippi Mass and the Commission and the Winan sound and the Hezekiah Walker sound and the Kirk, not so much the Kirk Franklin, but the who's John P. Key sound, the Fred Hammond. Of course, he's had a long run, Fred Hammond, so he's one of those that are blessed. All right, so we began to walk away from that sound, the mass choir sound. We got rid of the choirs actually, and we bumped it down to just a few people on stage, and we had to learn their music, their sound, or their words, and we put up the white screens, okay, and then it became more of a show, more of a production than it was me being a part of something that I'm creating with you in the congregation or devotion. All right, it became more of, we're going to do this and we're going to cause the people to come into what we're doing by, someone else's stuff is on the screen, that whole thing. And it kind of depleted and made some of the older saints feel like I don't belong. The older people began to reject that sound, reject that progression of the African American churches. And mom and pops, they was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this. And before you know it, you begin to see the mom and pops sit back and just let the young folk do what they do. And then before you know it, that church turned into more of a young church, and the older saints began to die off, or they just stayed home. They just, I ain't coming. All right. All right, so we walked away from that. And that sound from the old days when they were writing music, they gave you a verse, and then they gave you the hook. They gave you a second verse. They gave you the hook, and then they gave you what's called a bridge. Anybody know what a bridge is? It's just pretty much what it says it is. It bridges you over. It crosses you over from the beginning or the focal point of the song and bridges you over. The bridge is a short piece in the song, very short, okay? And in most cases, the bridge tells you, here is the reason why I'm here. This is the reason why I'm singing, all right? This is the answer to the question. This is the equation, okay? And that's what the bridge does. And then from the bridge, it goes to the end, what we used to call a special, or what we call vamp. All right. And with the vamp, that's something that's repeated over and over. And most times, the vamp is longer than the entire beginning portion of the song. Okay. And they vamp it out. Joy, 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 joy. That's called a vamp, or what's called a special. And when they put their fingers up like that, that's what that means. Some choirs do this. They're doing it incorrect. That's not supposed to be the vamp or the special. All right. All right. So that's what's going on here. That's what's going on there. And then what it did was it took us to a place. Our music back then took us to a place, not saying that your praise and worship music is not taking you to a place, young people, but it feels like to me and the older folks that it's taking you to a half place. Yeah, it's just you'll come out. Now I'm going to do a show on praise and worship with my piano, and I'm going to show y'all some of the chord changes and structures. But let me get my hymnal. Okay. Now, this is one of the hymnals, and when you open up the hymnal, you'll see some of the songs that even the hymnal songs, because the Bible talked about songs, hymns, and spiritual songs, okay, encouraging one another. And you look at some of the lyrics in here, and you say, "Oh my gosh, you have determined that they don't write music like this anymore. They just don't write it like this anymore." And what it did was this music took you to a place where a good blockbuster movie takes you, or what y'all may call a chick flick, okay, a love story, okay. I got a spider getting on my nerve. All the flies are gone, man. This spider was getting on my nerve. All the flies. The summer is gone, and I let the spiders come in here every now and then because I'm in the lower level of the house, and I let them hang around because it's good spider control. I mean fly control. Spiders, the flies are gone now, and he want to hang around. Okay. So what does a good movie do? It brings you to a place. Y'all often hear me talk about what's the movie I often talk about where the opening where the feather was coming out of the sky? Forrest Gump. Okay. The Forrest Gump movie reminds me of the songs that we created, the songs of Patti LaBelle, the songs of Gladys Knight. You understand? That movie reminded me of that because there was that setting, that opening. All right. I'll go to Patti's and Gladys stuff in a minute here. I got it on my computer there. But when you read their lyrics, you can literally read their lyrics and it's like you're reading a book. It's like you're reading a play, a feature film when you listen to their lyrics. And you can hear their hearts as they speak towards the person or persons they are attracted to, they are in love with, they are madly infatuated with, okay? Infatuated with, all right? And they took you from this beginning place, like the Big Bang. It just started off here, and then the universe began to expand, all right? Some of the music today don't do that. It's just, you're there, and then you're out. Some of the, sometimes when I'm trying to study songs for Sunday morning, it's just the harder the band plays, all right, the more impressive it is. All these fancy runs and turns and hits and what have you, and it's like, once you get past all of that, I'm too old to do all that, so I leave that up to my protege DJ at my church. I let him do all that fancy stuff, and then I just come in on the middle. I went through that life, and I'm letting him live that life right now, okay? And so by the time you get in the song, it's like, okay, I'm tired already with all them intros. But these songs here, you just heard that string come in. Just sometime one little note came in with a little slight beat, okay? Just came in. And you were driving, or you were cleaning up in the house, okay? You were walking down the street, and you just heard just a couple seconds of that string and that little beat come in, all right? And that bass driving, and you says, something's getting ready to happen. Something's on its way. That's that feather in that movie that was dropping as I was young, watching that feather, and the music had started. And as that feather, they teased me because they gave a picture of the sky. Y'all remember the movie? Just go tonight and go to, I don't know, Netflix, or you might have to go to Prime, all right? And you saw the feather dropping and the music playing, and I began to tear up because I knew that something was getting ready to happen. Before they even showed anybody, they just showed that for, I don't know how long the song is. The opening seemed like it might be a little over 3 minutes. I don't know. And I'm watching that thing, and I'm just getting all involved in what's getting ready to happen. They kept it simple, yes, yet musical. Saturday morning, cleaning up and going in. Yes. And it's just like something was taking you over. And then as you got into the verse, you just felt good. It just something about it just felt good, whether you knew the words or not, because many times we didn't understand the lyrics. We thought they said one thing, and as we got older, we realized, oh, that's not what they were saying in that song. How many of y'all can attest to that, to say there's too many songs you thought that the word was this or the phrase was this, but that's not what it was, all right? Nevertheless, it sure sounded good. And it felt good, okay? And then it took you from the verse to the hook. And that hook drove you in there. And you felt that hook. It hit the bottom of your soul, your back, all right? Something was massaging your back. Yes. And then they went back to a second verse to further explain the story. And that second verse, they didn't always repeat. They took it to another portion of the song to let you know, let me tell you some more of what happened to me. And you took you there, and you were like, Lord have mercy, that happened to you, girl. I wish I was there with you at that moment. Do me a favor. Won't you say what's on your mind? Yes. That's what I'm saying. I may not have the answer, but I can make it easier to find. Yes. You see what I'm saying? Wait a minute. Let's go there, because you're messing me up. You're messing me up here. All right. You're number one, because that's fortunately for y'all, that's my favorite song from Gladys. All right. That's number one in my book. That song right there. Okay. Waiting on my slow computer to pull it up. All right. Because I need y'all to see these lyrics. All right. I need y'all to see these lyrics because, all right. Now, do me a favor. Like Pitt says, once you say what's on your mind, I may not have the answer, but I can make it easier to find. Too many times you gave more than you took. Now I can show you things are better than they look. You're number one. She says another chapter. Do y'all understand what's happening here? I'm going to do a songwriting class just for y'all when I get an opportunity to show y'all how brilliant this is, but how simple it is. It's the simplicity of what they were doing that got us caught up in their web. of musicology. She says, another chapter of a love that's yours and mine. This time we've got to capture things that should never be denied. She says, my heart reads like a novel, and you'll find that I'm hooked. Just turn the page and take a closer look. You're number one in my book. She's not done, because this song actually has a bridge. And it's not a circle. It's not just, she says, I know you're thinking, what do I want in return? Well, you can rest easy. Your happiness is my only concern. Who does that today in music? Y'all whopping and whopping here and whopping there. She says, it's rewarding now. If I can make you feel good, there is just one thing I want clearly understood. You're number one in my book. I've got to tell you, you've got to know. You're number. Now watch this. Y'all think that's something. I want y'all to see the lyrics to You're the Landlord. You're the landlord and the keeper of our love. I need y'all to see that one. Okay? Yeah. All right. Y'all ready? That one right there blows me away every time. And I said, some brilliant man sat down there. It could have been a woman. All right. Most of these songs were written by men. All right. So I need to find out who actually wrote this one. She says, you're the landlord and the keeper of our love. She says, here was a heart torn apart, desperately in need of fixing. Now notice the parallelism, the comparison of being a landlord. Okay, and the things dealing with the home and the matters of the heart. I mean, it's brilliant. She says, here was a heart torn apart, desperate in need of fixing. I never found a heart big enough, let alone someone in whom I could trust. All of you open up to let me see. Where am I? Let me see. I lost it. Hold on. All of you opened up to let me see. In your heart there was full, incomprehensible me. Okay, I don't know who wrote these lyrics. They didn't know how to. Okay, who'll come to see me when I just pick up the phone? Who'll rush right in when I need to cut the heat on? And when my tears are flowing down the drain, I don't need no plumber, 'cause he can unstop the pain. He's found the treasure and all my security. Everybody on the block knows that I'm proud he found the key. Come on. You're the landlord and the keeper of our love. Y'all, I don't understand it. Why y'all don't write this stuff no more? Huh? Why y'all don't write this stuff no more? Huh? Y'all forgot how to write? I mean, this is just quintessential brilliance. And these was the songs that my grandmother and grandfather come up with, and then my father came up with, and then it ended with my generation. It ended with Generation X. After us, I don't know what my kids are listening to now. I have no idea. Baby girl be walking around here with hooter, 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 hooter. Hoover, huh, hooter, huh, hooter, huh, huh, hooker. I'm like, baby girl, what? Huh? What is that? What do you mean? What's that? What is that? What is that song? It's Pookie Payne and the Pain Tones. Okay, what is he saying? What he's saying is she's trying to describe to me how. Are you speaking Spanish? What language is this? What? It's a hit. I'm like, what is this? It's pure garbage. I said, well, I guess my music was garbage too when I was coming up, and my parents was like, what is that? What are you listening to? All right. But it's like if my parents were heard the music today, they would say, thank you, son, for the music y'all y'all came up on in the 70s and the 80s. Okay, more so the 80s because my parents were still living La Vida Loca in the 70s. I found this cassette box of cassette tapes on my mother's bed from the Columbia. They was a part of the Columbia music group. Remember y'all had the Columbia tape club, and you had to every month you had to select certain amount of tapes every month, all right, and you paid a monthly fee or something like that, and you send it through the mail. There was no Amazon there was nobody coming, dropping stuff off 24 hours at your house and all that. There was none of that going online. No, you had to do all this stuff through the mail, or you had to pick up the phone and call and select those songs. And then a big box came to the house, and I remember coming in my mother's bedroom, and there's that box open, and it changed my life. Helen Reddy was in there, Stevie Wonder, Earth, Wind and Fire, okay, We'll Be Crying Wildfire, okay, John Denver was in there, The Gambler, what's his name, he died, didn't he die recently? Okay, The Gambler in there, the old man, You Gotta Learn How to Hold, whatever, all right, and all these songs in there, even Dionne Warwick, who was on tonight, her music was in there. Okay, Engelbert Humperdinck and all these strange sounding people. Okay, I pulled that tape out and put it in the cassette tape, and it changed my life. Changed my life. Kenny Rogers, thank you. Changed my life. I was listening to music that had. It's called the music of the 70s. It's called the singer-songwriter era. All right, and you heard message songs, songs about fathers and the disparities and how he was trying to be in the kid's life, but he missed the whole life. Cats in the cradles and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know. All right, but we'll get together then, Dad. I know we'll have a good time then. And it just, this big song in such a short period of time, he told a whole story of his relationship with his son and him. Yeah, Harry Chapin. All right. Chapin. Anyway, okay. And then when I was young, I never needed anyone. Da 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 da. I said, what is this? Okay, all by myself. And he just told you the song. He told you why he was alone, why he was lonely, why he was by himself. Okay. And then what he did was the radio didn't always play this part, but then he stopped playing, he stopped singing, and it took you through a classical piece. Well, man, let's see. All by myself lyrics. Yeah, Eric Carmen, I think that's his name. Okay. When I was young, I never needed anyone, and making love was just for fun. Those days are gone. He said, living alone, I think all of my friends I've known, when I dial the telephone, nobody's home. All by myself. Hard to be sure. Sometimes I feel so insecure, and love so distant and obscure remains the cure. When I was young, okay, and he goes. There's a little guitar solo there, and he goes it all by myself. And those are the most of the words. But the reason why the song was so masterful is because what it did musically, and it's called prosody. For those of you who don't understand, I'm an etymologist, okay? Prosody is to take a melody, that's just the music, the tune that you hear, and then write lyrics to it. And they are married to each other. And I think this is one of the perfect ways to use prosody. It's like the sound of music, all right? Roger and Oscar and those guys, okay? Where she was on this mountain at the beginning of the movie, and she began to turn around and says, the He's are alive with the sound of music. Da 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 da. Okay, all this right here, when you heard that, what was happening is the music was bringing you in. Okay, but the lyrics itself was turning and twisting and dipping by what the audio or the melody was doing. So when she says the heels are alive, the music did not deplete or did not go into a minor chord. It went into a major chord and it began to raise the keys. Roger and Hammerstein, thank you. Okay? And so when she says the heels are alive, the orchestra went up. They ascended upward. They progressed in their chords upwards, alive. And then if she said something that described the below or the beneath or the depressed state, then the music went to a minor chord, or it went a few steps low. That's called prosody, and the greatest hit songs are use prosody this way. That's why they're the greatest hit songs. So this song here, All By Myself, he'd only had a few lyrics, but what he did was he wanted to pull you into his depression. He wanted to pull you in how sad he was feeling. And so what did he do? He brought in the orchestra. And he let the orchestra play in what's called the interlude. Like in my book here. Shameless plug. The reason why I wrote the book, and I call it, no books that I know of have what's called an interlude. Who puts interludes in a non-musical book? Sirwalterj Jones do, because I'm a musical man. And I was trying to get the women, especially because this book is for you, about your man. I wanted you to understand that this is a love story. Whether it's tragic or not, it's a love story. All right? And these men are falling here or falling there, and it's a musical, okay? Because there will be a musical track behind the book. And so I wrote the interlude because it really described who I was as the character in this book movie, a musical, okay? And so what he did in All By Myself was he brought in the orchestra and he let you allow the orchestra to take you to what he was feeling. Can you feel my pain? He said, you can't feel my pain? Let the orchestra show you my pain. And what he did was, then he didn't bring in a soul sound. He didn't bring in the pop sound. He didn't bring in a gospel sound. He brought in a classical sound. I thought it was brilliant. So what he did, he brought the orchestra with the piano in there. Okay, so the piano's playing all through the song, but he allowed the orchestra to join him in the middle for just a unplugged piece of depression. And it won. I mean, it was brilliant. I mean, there was we just hadn't heard anything such as intense as what Eric did. Barry Manilow would do the same. Yes. I write the songs that make the whole world sing. I write the songs of special something things. Okay. The irony of that song is he didn't write that song. Let's see if we can go to it. Let's see. Let's we got Google here. I want to know who wrote that song. I write the songs. Barry Manilow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Who wrote it? Okay, I'm gonna go to Wikipedia. 1975. It's a popular song written by Bruce Johnston. Yeah. 1975. So people, I thought he wrote it. But that doesn't take anything away from Barry Manilow because I am hooked on Band-Aid because Band-Aid stuck on me. I think that's Barry Manilow. And he wrote, I think it was the Baloney. My Baloney has a first name. It's OACAR. I think he wrote that one as well. He wrote some of the hot commercials, the jingles to them. So Barry Manilow made his money. Yeah, he made his money in those popular jingles, okay? But he didn't write that one. Written by Bruce Johnston. Yes. Not Johnson, Johnston. The Wizard of Oz was tight. Yeah, it followed the mood of Randall when The Wizard of Oz came out. All right. I was equally blown away by the Wizard of Oz, and not so much the Wizard of Oz, but the Wiz. The Wiz, I'm talking about the black version. My teacher took us to go see it at the movies in the 1970s. When did that come out, y'all? 1978, maybe? Okay. And I sat there in amazement by the music. And still to this day, in my iPhone, if you're in the car with me and listen to my playlist, you're going to hear the Wiz of Oz, the Wiz. Slide some oil to me. Let it trickle down my... Okay, you're going to hear that. You're going to hear his other song. If I could feel, yeah. Mm-hmm. So tell me what will I do if I could? Yeah, now you're going to hear that in there. You're also going to hear the Princess and the Bride, the Disney movie with the Disney cartoon with all the black actors. Oh, you're going to hear that whole soundtrack in my phone. If it's good, it's in my playlist. Why? Something about that. Yes, Margaret, Quincy Jones. The brilliance of Quincy Jones. Went down there before the towers fell. Right there in Manhattan, he filmed it. Okay? And it just took you to different places. The best part of that music piece is the intro. All right? It's the prelude. At the very beginning, when she's at Auntie M's house or whatever her name is, okay, it's the actress played by, that's my mama, okay? That intro there and the music comes in and it goes for a good, 5, 6, 7 minutes. That whole prelude there was the most masterful thing in the movie. And then Quincy Jones did it again in The Color Purple. Y'all got to get these soundtracks. You don't really have to buy them. Just go on YouTube and type in the soundtracks of these movies, all right, and just see the brilliance of Quincy Jones. The brilliance of it. To mesh all of the moves of that movie and put it into a prelude. Great stuff, y'all. Well, that's what Patti did tonight. And that's what my girl Gladys did tonight. All right? Gladys, known as the Empress of Soul. Now I want to talk about these terms that are given to these people. These are called honorific nicknames in popular music. And these are terms used most often in the media or by fans to indicate the significance of an artist. All right, and are often religious or familiar of royal and aristocratic titles. Okay, they call me Sirwalterj. I didn't give myself that. You should not have to give yourself an aristocratic, royal, or stage name. Someone else will deem you to be that. So sometimes people ask me, where did Sirwalterj Jones come from? I did not give myself that name. Actually, I rejected the name for many years. It was given to me in the 1990s by one person, and then it spread like wildfire. Okay? And wherever city I went to or I moved all the way to South Dakota, and that name followed me. And I was teaching in the Catholic school system, and they thought my first name was Sir, and my last name was Walter, because they would say Mr. Walters. Yes. So they began to call me that wherever I went. It was Sirwalterj. I rejected it so much. Then my church started calling me that. So it went from being Minister Jones to Elder Jones, so it became Sirwalterj. So you would see a program that says Elder this and Elder that, and then the Elder going to be on this, and he going to do this, and then this Elder going to do this, and then when it got to me, it says Sirwalterj Jones. I'm one of the elders, but there is something that we humans take pride when we decide to call someone a name that fits their caricature. And God did this too. He changed the name of Abram to Abraham. All right. He changed the name of Sarah to Sarah. Jacob wrestled with an angel, and the angel changed his name to Israel. All right. Because of the aristocratic or the power and prestige and the influence behind the person's name. Right. So these honorific nicknames are given to these people because of their brilliance. Used metaphorically, honorific names were used in classical music in Europe as early as the early 19th century, with the figures such as Mozart being called the father of modern music, Bach called the father of modern piano music, and they were also particularly prominent in African American culture in the Civil War era, perhaps as a means of conferring status that had been regulated by slavery, and as a result entered early jazz and blues music, including figures such as Duke Ellington and Count Basie. The U.S. culture, despite its Republican Constitution and ideologies, honorific nicknames have been used to describe leading figures in various areas of activity. Now, I'm going to give you some of the people. They got a list of them from A to Z, these honorific names. All right. Let's see. Benny Goodman, who's known as the King of Jazz or the King of Swing. Relatively, despite their being more highly regarded contemporary African American artists, these patterns of namings were transferred to rock and roll. Y'all know we created that, right? So they gave Elvis the name the King of Rock and Roll. He didn't fit that, but once you got it, it's hard to lose it. And then Little Richard is known as the architect of rock and roll. That fit him. Aretha Franklin, y'all know what she's called. Of course, she's the Queen of Soul, and she was called the Queen of Soul by Purvis Spann. Anybody know who Purvis Spann is? If you live in Chicago, you should know. He called her that in 1968. Purvis Spann. He said, "I'm Purvis Spann, your blues man." All right. He would come on VON, the voice of the Negro, AM. All right, here in Chicago. Michael Jackson and Madonna has been closely associated with the King of Pop and the Queen of Pop since the 1980s. All right, they gave a whole list. So, Alea was the princess of R&B, queen of urban pop. So let's go to so if Gladys Knight is called that, let's see what Patti LaBelle is called. LaBelle, H-I-J-H-I. I guess they put it in LaBelle's name. LaBelle. LaBelle is called Godmother of Soul. She's either the Godmother of Soul or High Priestess of Good Vibrations. Lord have mercy. For the young people, I guess R. Kelly, I think he calls himself the Pied Piper of R&B, and that fits him perfectly. Pied Piper, yeah, it fits him perfectly. Let's see who else. There's a lot of people here. I'm trying to see if there's someone that y'all might. Paula Abdul is the dance queen, the dancing queen. Christina Aguilera, they call her the dancing queen too, or the princess of pop. All right, some of these names obviously are repeated. Let's see who. Erykah Badu, First Lady of Neo Soul, that fits her. Queen of Neo Soul, that fits her. Godmother of Soul. I wouldn't say the Godmother of Soul. No, she would be the Goddaughter of Soul. Barry White, the Maestro. Yes, Margaret Johnson. Yes. Mary J. Blige. Yeah, she would be more Neo Soul though. I think she is the beginning of Neo Soul, but let's see what they're saying. See, they call her Mary J. Blige Empress of Soul. Well, you can't. They call her the Empress of Soul. They call her the Queen of Hip Hop, Queen of Hip Hop Soul. I would say Queen of Hip Hop Soul fits her best. Mary J. Blige, Hip Hop Soul, yes. Erykah Badu, First Lady of Neo Soul, yes. So let me change that. Because when she came out with on and on and on and on. Yeah, Erykah. Yeah, I would say that kicked off the Neo Soul sound. So we can give her definitely the First Lady statue for Erykah. But it was P. Diddy who got together with Mary J. Blige and created this hip hop soul sound. Just like Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis. Who else? Who was that? What's his name? Created that New Jack Swing sound. It's actually New Jack Swing is the variations of pretty much disco, and disco being like the foundation of most of the party beat music that we heard from since 1970 when they tried to kill disco. They didn't kill it; it just got renamed. It turned into it's now trance, and it's a lot of the European clubs are still playing the disco sound, but it actually has a different name. Teddy Riley, thank you. Teddy Riley gave us that name. Yeah. Carl Tyrone is the shit. Yeah. Soul Maestro. Yeah. Luther Vandross, Pitts. Soul Maestro. Let's see what they call if he's on this list. Luther Vandross. Let me go to the bottom and see if he's on this list. TUV Vandross, is he on here? It's probably a white person's list, because Luther Vandross is he was unsung amongst America at large. I believe Luther Vandross was definitely unsung. Are you going to slide into vocal skills? No, man, no. Okay, so if you want the list, go to. Let me give you my screen here, because you can see it for yourself. Just type that in, honorific nicknames in popular music, Wikipedia, and there's the list right there. Okay, I got rid of it. Let's go back. Okay. Yeah, there's the list there, and notice it's in alphabetical order. And I'm trying to, yeah, there it is. It's in alphabetical order. Okay. And I think they did all right. Harry Belafonte, King of Calypso. I agree. Totally agree. Chuck Berry, King of Rock and Roll. You see what they did there? Father of Rock and Roll. I don't know how you can have two kings. Beyonce got a whole lot of them. Queen Bey, Queen of America, the First Lady of Music, Queen Pop. You know who did all of that. All right. So yeah, it's a good list. Okay. Yeah, man. I tell you, I just want to thank the organizers who put this together. I think, what's his name? Beats. What's his name, y'all? I think he might have been the one who was responsible for that Verzuz thing. What's his name, y'all? Teddy Pendergrass. Yes. Balladeer Short. Yes. Anita Baker should be. Yes, I agree, Trevel. Totally agree. Barry White and Isaac Hayes had deep. Yeah, I agree. So, Patty and my girl. Hey y'all, listen. I want to thank y'all. We needed this tonight, in the midst of a lying president, and the pandemic, and the coronavirus, COVID-19, and the kids going back to school, and then they having to shut the schools back down because of all these cases rising back up, and the political unrest, the racial injustice, the police killing us, and people are dying, and surprisingly, it's all these surprise deaths that's happening with Chadwick recently. It's so much going on, y'all. We needed somebody to speak to America. And those two old ladies, y'all heard what Patty said tonight? She says, them heifers. She was talking about the young women who they said that they was admiring, how they sang me under the table. She talking about them young folks. She said, them heifers sang us happy. Patty can be, she the only one I know who can get away with that. All right. And they say, I'm a heifer. Yeah. They did a good thing tonight. It brought us all together, even if it's only for a couple hours, because they were on there for a while. So I want to thank them. Doesn't matter your walk. Doesn't matter what kind of music you enjoy or not enjoy. Those girls did it. I don't know if Verzuz could top that tonight. Yeah. Them little heifers. Yeah. I don't know if Verzuz could top what they did tonight. I don't know. If they would have to bring the girls back for them to top it. Yeah. Yeah. The aunties can get away with calling them. Yeah. They're the elders. They can do whatever they want to. Yeah. All right. So, yes, Jenkins, they gave us the opportunity to excel and just enjoy, if only for one night. Luther Vandross, if just only for one night. Minnie Riperton, an amazing voice. I agree. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She just needed a little more salvation. Minnie Riperton needed a little more salvation for my taste. She had some amazing songs. She just needed a little more salvation. Special moments matter. SMM. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go. I haven't had dinner yet, so I'm gonna go and eat my din and I don't know. Baby girl ain't home. She's still out there celebrating her new. Oh, let me show y'all, baby, my pretty girl. This is baby girl. That's baby girl, y'all, and baby girl is getting ready to give me a grandson. I was trying to find another picture. Yeah, baby girl is getting ready to give me a grandson. The Lord is blessing. For those of you who didn't see, that's Patty and them. That's what happened tonight. For those of you who missed it, just go and watch the replay. But baby girl, I wanted a granddaughter. All right, let me say this right quick. That's us. That's us there. Okay, look at my pretty girl. She's just so pretty. Sometimes I just sometimes she's sitting on the couch, and I just stare at my little baby girl and I say, "Baby girl, I love you." Oh, yeah, I just love you. You just, first of all, you're just you grew up to be a beautiful girl. Gave me no problems. She just was a good girl. And whatever she said she was going to do, she did it. And she says, I'm going to college. I says, all right, whatever I can do, it's going to happen. And that girl went and stayed and graduated and then went right into her career. So I plan on doing a lot of remodeling because she wants to do a business, open up a daycare. So I plan on putting some money down and into making sure that her dream come into fruition. She's been a good girl. But I said it was going to be, I wanted a daughter. I see a clock keeper. I wanted a granddaughter because I have a grandson. I told God I wanted a son and I wanted a daughter. Now, I didn't necessarily tell God I wanted a granddaughter. I just said, my flesh said, I want a daughter. I want a granddaughter. That was my flesh said. I never prayed to God for a granddaughter. I just said, I want a granddaughter. Mm-hmm. Yeah. that James. All right. So months ago, when she was announced that she was pregnant, I kept rubbing her belly. Come on, granddaughter. I would call her granddaughter Waltera. Come on, Waltera. Come out of that belly, Waltera. She said, no, I want a boy. It's going to be a boy and blah, blah, blah. No, baby, that's a girl. That's my granddaughter. I got a grandson. He needs a girl cousin. All right? So come on. For weeks, I kept rubbing that belly as it got bigger. Come on, granddaughter. Well, let me tell you what happened, James. Baby girl, I don't know, maybe 3 days ago, sat on my bed. She was looking at her phone and she just sat there on the bed. I'm in the kitchen. And I looked over there and I saw her sitting on the bed and I went in there and I sat next to her and I just grabbed her. Hey, baby girl. Hey. I rubbed it back. I said, you bored, huh? Yeah, I'm bored. I said, well, she says, but I ain't going to be bored too long because I'm going somewhere in a few minutes. I said, yeah, I know my girl. I know. And then I heard, that's a boy. That's a boy. was like, I didn't say nothing to her. I had a pink. Now her thing was yesterday, her reveal, and I had my pink shirt already out on the couch. It was sitting there. My pink shirt was there on the couch. I was gonna wear pink to the thing. Only one person knew what it was gonna be, and that's her best friend Jazz. Okay, she lives up the street. She wasn't saying nothing. All right, and so I had my pink out, and I heard, "That's a boy." Why? Because she wants a boy. It's about her. It ain't about you, Grandpa. That's what I heard the Spirit say. That's what I heard the Spirit say. Spirit said, you had yours. You asked me for a son, I gave it to you. You asked me for a daughter, I gave it to you. Now, let your daughter live her life. She wants a boy. It's going to be a boy. Now, here's why. My son has a boy, and his girl has a daughter. My daughter's man's got a daughter. And so, they need a boy. Y'all see what I'm saying? Now, I don't know what's going to happen on both of them ends. If they both, and my son going to get married, and my daughter going to get married. And if they do, and if they both get their act together, they'll both have their son and their daughter. God says, it's their time to live. You had yours. So, I'm good. So if they decide they all get their lives together and get married, then I have to adopt those daughters, and I'll have my 2 granddaughters. Y'all understand what I'm saying? I'll have my granddaughters, and I'll have my 2 grandsons, and I'm good. I'm good to go. So that's my story. I'm excited. So I'll be able to. You best believe I'm gonna be kidnapping my son, though, my grandson, because I don't know what my daughter gonna do, if she wants to stay or go somewhere. I don't know what's gonna happen, but my grandson is in Chicago, my second one. And if y'all think I'm crazy over the one in Atlanta, y'all gonna get tired of these pictures. Matter of fact, I'm getting my cameras ready because I'm gonna have a baby cam here in my office. Oh, trust me. Yeah, there's a baby cam coming. I got the cameras already, and that baby gonna be here doing some of my shows. Yes, it will. There's gonna be a baby cam. I'm gonna camera number 2, please. Bam. Y'all gonna see my baby. She gonna grow up right there here. You know how these shows, how the kids grew up on TV? Well, my baby's getting ready to grow up on social media. Yeah, I gotta go. I love y'all. Thank you, Clock Keeper, for your grace. I appreciate it. Yeah, amen. Thank you, sir. Thank you, James Foster. I be sweating when you be typing. I be sweating. All right. Thank you, BW. I appreciate you so much, and the rest of you. May God continue to bless the whole family. Thank you, Reginald. That's my brother. Yeah. All right. I love y'all. Hey, if you're on YouTube, take your Gladys and Patti thumb and smash the like button and turn it fuchsia. You're number 1 in my book. Okay. And if those with the thumbs down, well, they like WAP. Okay, it's about 100 of y'all. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and share this with the folks and let them know, for a couple hours on a Sunday night in September 2020, the world was calm and at peace. Because them 2 old aunties and Dionne Warwick just sang us happy just for 2 hours. And then Sirwalterj Jones put the icing on the cake. I see y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow, Proverbs 31 woman. Show starting at 8 o'clock now. No more 9 o'clock. Nope. I'm going to bed. 9 o'clock Central Standard. 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. Every night, 8 o'clock. Set your clocks. If it's too early for you, you got to watch the replay. Tomorrow, we're talking about the Proverbs 31 woman. What is it really?
Goodbye. 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 Enjoy yourself. Goodbye. 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 Well, goodbye.
Fellas, does it seem like you can't get a good woman? Ladies, wonder why you can't keep a man? Then read The 4 Women That Men Desire, Volume 1, by Sirwalterj to figure out how to break the cycle. Go to Amazon.com to get your copy today.
All right, Mr. Walters.